What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripe Show. Today's show is brought to you by Shady Rays. Kick off your summer right with brand new sunglasses. Go to shadyrays.com and use promo code Bronx for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. More about them in a little bit. A whooping. It was a whooping of the Oakland A's. I think Michael Kay on one of the broadcasts this week said, "There is not one facet of the game that the Oakland Athletics excel at." And I would like to revise that statement. There is not one facet of the game that the Oakland Athletics are even mediocre at. They suck.
That's just mean. They have a good center fielder, decent center fielder who knows how to steal bases. That's something he's good at. I think he's actually leading the league. So take that shit back, Michael Kay. That one man in patrolling center field does know how to steal bases. But no, they're not a good team. Their pitching staff is not good. They're not hitting the ball well. They don't play good defense.
Historically bad.
They don't play good defense. They do a lot of things. JP Sears, not one of the ones that Brian Cashman's going to be, kicking himself over. At least not what we saw in this series. So, yeah, good. They came at the right time, didn't they? They came at the right time. This is what we were talking about. The Yankees had the opportunity with Tampa to really take that series, take 2 out of 3. We're in all 3 games. Didn't go their way. And they have them again now. So they needed this little warm up for to get ready for them again back in the Bronx, and Oakland came at the right time.
Yeah, I don't know how much differently we would feel right now had the Yankees closed that game out on Sunday in Tampa. Would you feel a lot more optimistic about the current team, where it's kind of just like, yeah, they're still slowly getting guys back. Judge was activated, but they're still many pitchers down, and there's still key lineup pieces down, and the division, the more the reality sinks in, seems like it's out of reach for this season. And is this year just going to be get healthy for the second half so you can make a run into October? Like, is that what we're gearing up for?
I know we talked last episode about this, the actual division being out of reach because of the math and because of the amount of good teams that are in the division. But at the same time, there's so many things that can happen, and there can be a lot of chipping away. And if you find yourself, you're what, 9 back, 8 back, 9 back. If you find yourself five back, at the middle, at the break, something like that, like you're very much in play. So not that matters all that much, because there are 5 playoff spots. Wild cards are abundant, so you can get into the playoffs in multiple ways now and succeed in multiple ways. We've seen it with in multiple years with teams that have not won their division. But yeah, when they get healthy, that's when we'll see what's up. But everything's in place still. I'm not saying I would be more optimistic. I probably would be, because that would be 2 series wins in a row then at that point. And they would have taken it. They would have closed that series out. So yeah, I would feel differently about that, only because we're playing them again right now. And that's a series win or a series loss. It's as simple as that. It's black and white. But the way that the team is playing, we're getting guys back and they're getting healthier. And that is a very good thing. And Harrison Bader is Mickey Mantle.
It's May 10th, right? So we have to understand there's 4.5 months of baseball to play. That's plenty of time to make up 8.5 games in the standings, even though they have to leapfrog 4 different teams in order to do that. So I'm not saying the division's over. It's just, it would be an unlikely comeback if the Yankees came back and won the division in the position they are in mid-May, 8.5 back in last place with all those teams above them, because all of those teams are good, and because you play fewer head-to-head matchups against each
That's
of
the
those
other piece that we don't know about. We don't know. We haven't seen that before, where you're not playing a team as much. So you don't get as many opportunities to claw back into it by
you have to rely on other teams more.
Yeah. And you have to assume that the Boston Red Sox, who won 8 in a row, like aren't gonna be that team again. You have to assume that the Orioles are gonna come back to earth a little bit, as the season moves on. But those are all assumptions that I think are difficult to make at this point, because nothing is showing that that's going to happen. Like, the Orioles do look like a young, talented team that's going to continue to play. I've always thought that the Red Sox, while their roster is not very good, Cora gets them to play. They're getting over production from a lot of the players on that team right now. So it will be a tough sled to get back and win the division. But again, like, does it really matter at the end of the day? Not all that much. I don't
So
think
you
it
would
matters all that
feel
much.
so you would feel maybe just a little bit better about the week had they won that game in Tampa. And I think if you just lost the series in Tampa, you just lost it upright, then it's like, okay, you probably lost to a better team with a more complete roster in current day in Tampa, but that's not how the series went down.
No.
And I think that's why it kind of left a bad taste in our mouths. Like you had Cole for a 6-run lead to win the series and you couldn't close it out.
But at the same time, when you say that, like, I think that's a win that they'll have
that's
9 times out of 10.
Glass, but it's a glass half full, glass half empty type of, because you can leave that weekend in Tampa, and I think we talked about this last week, and say you had a busted up roster and busted up lineup, and you should have taken 2 of 3.
And Garrett Cole gave up a 6-run lead, which doesn't happen. So that's like, it's not a win, but it's as damn close to a win as you could possibly think of, like, without winning.
Tampa feel? Let's flip it. Do you think Tampa feels good about how that weekend went? Probably not.
I mean, they won the series. Yes, they do.
But they were probably expecting to cruise through that series with how the Yankees had been struggling so much. And
Tampa scratches and claws every single time, no matter what the situation is. I think that they feel great about.
Can I just talk myself into the Rays having the Yankees having a moral victory? And
no, I'm not going to allow that to happen. I think that they are now prepared to, with Judge back. We got some good news with Sevy throwing, at Scranton. We got David Garcia, who was up and actually I just got the email or notification that he's back down in Scranton. So they're coming. Harrison Bader again is out of his mind. So yeah, they're healthier. They're in a much, I think, better spot. And when you add Aaron Judge into the lineup, everybody gets better. As you can see, Volpe finally broke out of a 0 for 17, 0 for 19, whatever it was. I think it was 0 for 17.
He broke out of it on Tuesday, and then he had the granny today, grand slam.
Hey, guess what?
Grand slam.
They threw him a pitch because who didn't they not want to face with a lot of those runners on the pond, and he made them pay for it. So good for him. Like that immediately when you insert Aaron Judge into a lineup and you have him back, everybody around you gets better opportunities to perform. And if they're able to execute, because they're going to get pitches, and Volpe will continue to get pitches. So, and this, like, Aaron Judge being back is the greatest thing that happened to Anthony Volpe.
Do you remember how long it took Derek Jeter to get his first career grand slam? It took him until 2005. And it was a thing being talked about. Like, he had all these plate appearances with the bases loaded and never hit a grand slam. Huh. And Volpe comes up first. I actually don't know if this was his first plate appearance with the bases loaded this year. I was watching once the Yankees took a bigger lead in the middle of that game. I was watching it on the side.
Yeah,
but
these day games on on a Wednesday are tough. But no, that's awesome. He's not Derek Jeter. Let's stop comparing him to Derek Jeter, even though he plays shortstop and kind of looks like a young Jeter.
Let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Harrison Bader. I wanted to do a little eye test versus nerd test, because the eye test is obviously the man is on fire.
Right.
Like he can do no wrong.
Are you going to admit now that you named your child after this guy now? Is that safe? Are we are we in a safe zone for that?
I don't understand how you can say I named my son Harrison after Harrison Bader when my son Harrison was born in February 2021.
Right.
And Harrison Bader was traded to the New York Yankees in July 2022.
Big fan. You were a big fan of his defense ahead of that. That was one of those trades that you were looking at as a off-season GM. And I don't know how you did it. That's not my job here. It's just get you to admit that you did do it.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm not naming my second child Carlos Rodon, because I don't know if he's ever going to be on the mound for the Yankees. But Harrison Bader, in his only 8 games played this year, it feels like more than that because he's made such a massive impact. He has 11 RBIs, so he's already approaching the team lead in RBIs. Not really approaching, but like he's got 11 RBIs, and guys like Rizzo, Glaber, and DJ, who have played all season, have like 16, 17, 18 RBIs. He's hitting 429, 448, 893. In 29 plate appearances. He's been a single, a lone wrecking crew for the Yankees.
The Bronxville Bomber.
Big clutch hits. And, Yes has been showing how animated he gets in the outfield, like telling the outfielders how many outs there are and all that kind of stuff. He's just a fun player.
Yeah.
But I was reading an article today about about Harrison Bader and like what has changed here. And so this is where the nerd test comes in. And there's been some massive adjustments. It's small sample size alert, but massive adjustments and differences in how in his advanced metrics and some of the way the ball's coming off his bat than in previous seasons where he has been a league average hitter. He was a league average hitter with St. Louis up until he was traded to the New York Yankees. He did not play well in the rehab games he played with them last year, and then obviously he performed well in the playoffs. But the difference is 13.4 degree rise in launch angle. So he's hitting the ball in the air more. 95% rise in batting average on breaking balls. 95% increase in his batting average on breaking balls, and a 22.4% rise in opposite field contact. And we saw him hit the opposite field home run today, 3-run home run in the first inning. Those are all massive changes.
Okay, so when you said two things, I didn't look at these before we started recording, so I'm hearing this for the first time. And some of this makes sense to me with a lot of the approaches that we have seen throughout the Yankees players lineup. So the fact that he's hitting breaking balls at a higher percentage makes a lot of sense. The fact that he's going the opposite field makes a lot of sense. To me, that says that he's longer through. It's similar to what Judge did in a lot of his adjustments. You've seen Glaber do it as well. Is instead of trying to pull that breaking ball on the outside corner, you're going with it. And that is what this is the Cameron Maybin up the middle of the field approach. It's going with what the pitchers are giving you and not trying to just stick to your own agenda with how you want to hit a ball. It's the way that I'm seeing that he is definitely spraying it. And I don't know how much of this is like an approach by the New York Yankees or just really a lot of the methods from the players that are in there. And it's just kind of, all the cheddar, because DJ LeMahieu does the exact same thing. Glaber, when he's right, is going the opposite field and attacking the short porch and hitting line drives up the middle. That is exactly how Aaron Judge hits. Even Stanton does something very similar to that. So, the rubbing off of that approach to the guys and showing and talking to Harrison Bader about the taking advantage of Yankee Stadium and how it can help your offensive game. It does look like that's what's happening. And when you read those numbers, it translates with those numbers. It really does, because that breaking ball, instead of trying to pull off of it, you're going with it and you're going to the opposite field. So two things happen at that point.
And a higher launch angle, hitting the ball in the air more, and he's hitting the ball hard. Obviously, yeah, he's been a huge impact. It's been only 8 games and 29 plate appearances, so again, all of these numbers are taken with a little bit of a grain of salt. But his impact has been real, and I don't think it's like a stretch to say he kind of saved them in a time where they had like no positives, because Judge had just gone down. And they brought Bader back. I think it was like a Tuesday, right? It was Tuesday. I forget. I don't even remember who they were playing, but it was just like, well, Bader's back. He hasn't really been playing well in his rehab games, but you got no bodies at the major league level. You might as well have him get
the reps
rehab
there. Yeah.
Like no one was expecting him to hit 429.
Well, no,
with
of course
11
not.
RBIs.
But I will say,
no one was even expecting him to, I was expecting him to struggle because he didn't have a spring training and he came in and didn't play well in his couple rehab games, and they're just like calling him up because they had no bodies to play the outfield. So I fully expected him to struggle and not be a big impact, even if it was at least a quality name in the lineup. But that's not what happened. He made an immediate impact and it provided an immediate spark to this team.
Yeah, and this, we've talked about this, I think, with minor league players. Sometimes when they come up, you actually can get better pitches in the major leagues because you get guys who are a bunch of strike throwers. They're going to attack you, and you'll get better opportunities to hit a ball that's over the plate. Whereas in the minor leagues, and the command isn't there as it is in the major leagues, and you're just seeing, especially if you're a major leaguer, you may not see as many strikes. So I think it can be a positive to get up and to take a bunch of swings at the major league level, depending on who you're playing, obviously. But the guy has been, I mean, he's this isn't new either for us. I mean, we saw it in the playoffs last year. He was extremely hot. He was an extremely big offensive piece for the Yankees when he came back, from that foot injury that he got acquired with. And so since he's put on the Pinstripes, the home team for his hometown, Bronxville, New York, like the kid has been everything that you want him to be, plus, because he's still a very good defender. Like you said, very outgoing, very, communicative, and is like, He's a good energy. He's a good energy in the clubhouse. And I think that he feeds a lot of other guys. The other thing that he does that's so different is that retainer thing that goes under his tongue. But it's like, it's not even a mouth guard. It's like we got an email from the people who make it at one point when we were first talking about it. It like goes under your tongue. It allows you to breathe better. It's like a different way to breathe. So it's like through your nose. You know, have you seen these where people like put duct tape over their mouth when they sleep so that it's just, it's not duct tape. It's some kind of other tape.
It's tape.
It's kind of, that freaks me out a little bit, to be honest.
You tape your mouth shut so you're not a mouth breather.
Yeah. Well, what happens when I like turn and my nose is covered by the pillow and then I just suffocate myself?
No, I think you'll wake up before you suffocate.
How? When oxygen starts leaving my
your
brain,
your body will just naturally do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to test that theory out. I'm just not going to do that.
Do you sleep on your stomach?
I sleep on the side, on my side. Yeah. Sometimes my stomach. Yes. Okay. And I don't know, but it allows him to breathe better for whatever reason. This thing is helping.
It's also
him.
not like you said, it's not duct tape. It's not a hostage.
No, not that one. That just made me think of that. It just made me think of that because I've seen it in different, Instagram ads that have just taken over my life. But he does have one of those things that allows him to breathe. It's like an evolution of the breathe right strip.
Yeah, you don't want to snore at night.
More oxygen.
It's annoying.
Yeah, but you also don't want to. You want to be able to breathe at a high level during a baseball game, and that's what he's doing. More oxygen.
That's what he's doing.
More oxygen.
Yeah. He's
heavily oxygenated.
His first game back was the Tuesday against Cleveland, and the Monday against Cleveland was that Domingo Germán game that the Yankees blew catastrophically. Right, so it was like, okay, yeah, let's just get Bader back here because this shit's going sideways.
Yeah, no, it's you got when you have IKF playing every outfield position, and then you have just a shit show in the outfield.
He finally played third base this week. You happy?
Yeah, I am happy.
Must have listened to our show on Monday and be like, oh right,
I forgot. In Texas, he won a Gold Glove. That's right. You know what was confusing is that Boone actually acquired him from Minnesota, so he didn't see. That he won.
Boone didn't acquire him.
Boone thought he came from Minnesota, and it was a little confusing, so they probably missed that.
You'd never know IKF was on Minnesota because his baseball reference page, you go there, no games played with Minnesota.
I'm just saying that's where the acquisition came from. So Boone, simpleton goes and doesn't, he forgets.
But really, Bader has been unbelievable. Exactly what they needed at the exact right time. And now that Judge is back, you've got 2/3 of your on paper really good outfield back, and the revolving door of misfit toys in left field now is the only thing you got to deal with in the outfield.
Yeah. Until Jason Dominguez comes up and saves left field and just is a fixture there for a very long time. I know that Brian Cashman doesn't like to do any business during the season, but we should really consider looking at Harrison Bader in some extension, because after this year, he's no longer a New York Yankee per his contract in current situation.
Yeah. So I don't know that right now is the best time to extend the man because he's at an all-time high. He's got an all-time high.
It's not going to be a crazy. Price. I mean, look what happened with
he's
Reynolds.
Been spurned? Well, do you think he's been? That's a good point. And Bader's not going to get Reynolds.
No,
you can argue Reynolds.
If he did, okay.
Yeah. So, but you don't think he's maybe feeling a little burned by Aaron Hicks?
Why?
That contract? 7
Oh,
years?
you mean Cashman? I thought you meant Bader. No, I mean you got to have that closer mentality at that point on to the next one. You can't worry about what happened in the past. Like that is old news.
You know what?
And now that man is on the IL.
Let the man have a career year and pull an Aaron Judge, fine, whatever. Hit 429 this year, Harrison Bader. Set a league record. Then just go get your money. It's like, can't we just let guys play it out, play out the string?
No, I want to extend the people that I see on this team for a while. Look, when Aaron Hicks was extended for that length of time, we weren't killing that contract. Like for injury,
yes, we were. Are you kidding?
For injury purposes, we were talking that it was very risky, but when he played well.
We said AAV, obviously,
low
$10
risk.
million, not a lot of money, but 7 years. It's like you didn't need to extend him for 7 years. He was not getting a 7-year contract from anybody, and so if it was just total dollars,
7 years at 10 million, 5 years at 13 million, like That's why the years don't matter to me. It's the total amount of the contract at the end of the day. Like if
I
you
think
don't have to
years
live with
play.
those years. You don't have to.
I know you don't, but the Yankees do. And I feel like years do play a factor into it, because if you're just walking away from 1 year, whether it's 10 million bucks, 20 million bucks or whatever, I think management is just a little easier to swallow versus like we're walking away from 3 years of this guy. We're going to be carrying this guy on our books for 3 more years. If we walk away from him right now, he's going to go play for, some other team, and we're going to be paying him to
$10
play
million
against us for 3 years.
Yes. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck playing for another team.
Well, his injury is coming at just the perfect time, because some roster decisions have to be made
for him.
Conveniently, he's running. My hip. Put me on the IL. Let me just keep collecting a paycheck, and I don't have to move out of New York City.
Some would say it was a bad time because he actually started to like hit the ball a little bit. He had a home run. First extra base hit. Then all of a sudden he hits a home run. Now he's on a streak. A lot of like very good things are happening for this guy, and then the injury, which is the root of why we were scratching our head a little bit at that contract, not the dollars, or not the performance, because when he played, he was playing well at that point, but now he just doesn't play well. So
yeah, we don't know yet. We're recording this after Wednesday's game, and during the game they just said that Hicks is feeling better, but still no official report on if he's going to go on the IL or if he's going to be day-to-day or what's happening here. Just to close the loop on some of those other roster transactions, Judge was activated on Tuesday, and Peraza was placed on the IL retroactive to May 6th, which is when he rolled his ankle trying to steal that base. And we got like you said, the Devi Garcia sighting. He got the save today, the 3-inning save in the blowout. He's been a reliever this year in 20 minor league innings. He's been pitching to a 4.5 ERA, and he's been doing the
not great, still not great,
still not good.
Yeah.
Well, better than his 2022 season, in which he had a 6.89 ERA in 64 innings pitched and was walking the house. But he's been pitching in relief like multiple innings at a time. So that's been how they're using him. So, the very diet budget bootleg version of Michael King.
Or the previous version of Domingo Germán.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's a mop up. That is a role that is needed on every team. When you're up 7-3, 11-2, or you're down a similar thing, you need someone to go out there and just take it and pitch to eat the innings to save for when the games are either close to win or give yourself an opportunity to win. So. But yeah, he was sent back down pretty quick.
Like official scorers need to change that. It's like it's a blowout. Whatever the final score was, say 11-2, 11-3. It's like let's not give the man a save. He should not get a major league save for that, even though he pitched 3 innings. Because when he came into the game, it wasn't close either.
Right. I don't quite understand. I don't understand.
There's just a rule. There's just a rule. If you pitch the final 3 innings, no matter the score,
right.
Assuming you don't
get
the win, you get a save.
It's a stupid rule. It makes no sense.
I agree.
Yeah.
Stupid rule.
We could make up a category for that. We could make up another stat category for that one.
And because like in some instances, you don't get a save if, say, you come in the 8th inning of a 4-run game, and you come in the 8th inning with 3 runners on, tying run at the plate. You don't get the save for that.
Yeah. Has nothing to do with the leverage of a situation.
However, if you get out of that situation and then you finish the 9th inning, you deserve a save in my book.
Call it like you get a clean, you get the cleaner, you get a mop, you get.
You know what? There's been enough new terms with the sweepers and everything this year. The sweeper, the Shambinos, it's like.
Yeah,
it's enough.
This one's warranted. I feel like this is a change. This is a change in because you know what it does is it diminishes the saves that other people have earned at high leverage situations. So really, it's taking away from Mariano Rivera.
That's what I was gonna say. He's chasing Mariano Rivera. Also, we'll talk about Luis Severino's rehab, but first, Athletic Greens. AG1 is so much more than a greens powder. It's all of your key health products in one. And I cannot stress how convenient that is. It's just 1 scoop and 12 ounces of water, and you are good to go. AG1 is loaded with 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source ingredients, probiotics, and adaptogens. It gives you so many benefits. Some of the ones that I have noticed, having drank it, had it every single day for 8 months, is it promotes gut health with pre and probiotics. and better sleep quality and recovery. AG1 contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no chemicals, or artificial flavoring, and it is affordable. Each serving costs less than $3. It's a monthly subscription. You set it and forget it, and it gets delivered to your house every single month. It's so easy to build into your daily routine. You got to drink water anyway, so just toss a scoop of AG1 in there. And I think you'll also be surprised that it tastes good. I was a little worried, to be honest. A green powder, you don't know how that's going to taste.
Any powder, any powder that you're entering into a liquid form is you don't know. It's a risk.
It tastes good, and the taste you kind of get, you kind of start to crave it after a while as well. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews and is trusted by athletes and health experts around the world. Go to athleticgreens.com/pinstripes for a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. Shout out to Athletic Greens for sponsoring us as always. Sevy. He also had a rehab game today. You thought the Yankees game started early. The Scranton game started at like 11 a.m. He threw 3 1/3 innings. He allowed a homer and a broken bat single. He walked 1 and he struck out 3. His fastball averaged 95.9 miles an hour and topped out at 98 miles an hour.
That's different. That's different than what we saw through spring training.
And he got 7 swings and misses on 20 total swings. So that was discussed on the broadcast, and I think they said it wrong. They said 20 swings and misses. That's not what happened. He got 20 swings, and of those 20 swings, 7 of them were swings and misses.
Right.
And his next start will be Tuesday, and then they're going to reassess from there.
Yeah, that's great. So I mean, obviously I don't know about you, but were you expecting that many pitches?
50 pitches.
Yeah, I don't think I was expecting that much. For whatever reason, I saw that number and I was surprised that it was that high, I guess. After,
I mean, how many did you expect?
I don't know, just because
he's been throwing like 35, 40 in
I guess because he's been doing it in a bullpen session. So that's why I figured it would be, a couple innings here and then stretch him out. But you're getting him stretched out.
50 pitches, I don't know much.
So that's the thing. Like, he has one more start here and he's throwing
65, 70 pitches in his next start.
Yeah. Okay. 65, 70 pitches. Does he then take a spot on the next time out for Burrito at that point?
I think it depends on how obviously they're going to monitor his health in these next 2 weeks, right? Like,
assuming that is in a good spot, because obviously,
and assuming he's so
even if he doesn't get the results, even if he doesn't get the results, if he comes through 65 pitches in the next outing and the velocity's where they want it, he feels good, all of those things.
I think they give him one more start after that, because 65 pitches at the major league level, realistically, I mean, that could be 3 innings, 3+ innings.
But that's 80 pitches if you go out the next time. That's what my point is you go 50, 65, then 80-ish.
80 pitches, yes.
Yeah, so 65 and the next one is a rehab game. We know that's happening. His next one's not going to be in the Bronx. The next one will be Scranton, 65-ish. And then, ramping up to 80 after that. That's a professional appearance. It should be 80 pitches. If everything feels great.
So Burrito today threw 77 pitches in 4+ innings. He was pulled in the 5th inning. If Severino, if the plan is Severino's going to throw 80 pitches today, I want it for the Yankees and not the Rail Riders.
Yeah. Well,
but 60 to 65 pitches, no, I still want that for the Rail Riders.
Yeah. He's getting one more rehab, and then I'm just going off of what they said. One more rehab, and then they will reassess. So to me, that reassessment is okay. What are we reassessing? Are we reassessing the fact that he's going to pitch at Scranton or pitch with the Yankees? That's to me what that means.
So let's do a little schedule watching, because you know what we've got coming up.
We've got a game coming up with an event.
Exactly. So if he's pitching on Tuesday of next week, that is the 16th. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would get that next turn in the rotation. There's an off day on Monday, the 22nd. So maybe he comes back and pitches Sunday, the 21st, or Monday or Tuesday, the 23rd. Yeah, there's an outside chance if he pitches one of those days, we could see Severino
on his second
start back against San Diego on May 27th, Memorial Day weekend. 1 p.m. Yankee Stadium, 6 a.m. the dugout for pre-breakfast beers.
Yeah,
just kidding. 10:30 a.m.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome. I would much rather see Luis Severino than Brito pitch.
Johnny
at that
Brito
point.
or Clarke Schmidt.
Yeah, it's gonna be Clarke Schmidt. I mean, you know it.
It's
You know
gonna
it's
be
gonna be
Clarke
Clarke Schmidt. No, it's gonna be Clarke Schmidt. It's just the way it's gonna happen. But yeah, no, that would be great.
Who did we see a couple times?
Ivan
on
Nova. We saw
event?
Nova a few times.
Yeah.
We saw Tanaka a few times. We saw Sevy a few times too.
We saw CC a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to come to the event, the tickets are up on the Bronx Pinstripes fan shop, bronxpinstripes.com/fan shop. And there for $75, you get a custom designed t-shirt, the pinstripe heart. We're raising money for the Ethan Lindbergh Foundation. Obviously Scott's wife, Bevan, ran the Boston Marathon. We've been talking about that a lot. And this is just such a great cause, providing housing for people who are at Boston Children's Hospital up in Boston. And there's, you've talked about your connection to Boston Children's Hospital.
Yep. You have one too.
Crazy, because I feel like even though we grew up in different places and we're 9 years apart or whatever, I also have a connection to Boston Children's Hospital. My sister was a nurse there for like 8 years.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
There's just a lot of things, a lot of crossover there. So it's a tremendous hospital and a tremendous foundation for everything that people who have children in the hospital are going through, just to make their lives 1%, 2% easier. Anyway,
and trust me, it's way more than 1% and 2%. It's higher than that, because it's being able to lay your head on a pillow somewhere, and that's massive. So yeah, it's a really good thing that they do, and hope everybody. We haven't done an event in a long time. 2019 playoffs was the last one we did. Obviously COVID derailed a lot of things that we were doing, and then life got really busy. So getting back on the wagon a little bit, this is going to be kind of an appetizer to maybe we'll be able to do more, but excited to see. I know there's a bunch of people coming that's already sent us messages, and people, if you're looking to sit with certain people too, just drop us a note, and we'll do the best to make that happen. Usually we can.
All right. So Clarke Schmidt, I was looking at some recent numbers for him, because he got his first win of the season on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
His last 4 starts, 21 innings pitched, 24 hits.
Yeah.
So, not great. 12 runs allowed, but only 7 of them earned. He got burned by some defense in his last outing. 4 home runs allowed, 6 walks, 27 strikeouts. So 27 strikeouts in 21 innings pitched. So he's getting swings and misses, but he's still giving up a lot of hits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 11.6 strikeouts per 9 innings, 2.6 walks per 9 innings, but he's pitching to a 3 ERA, a 4.22 FIP, and a 3.04 expected FIP. So his FIP, fielder independent pitching ERA, so trying to take out any defensive plays behind him, 4.22 is okay. It's not great for a number 5 starter. Honestly, it's pretty good, but an expected FIP of 3.04, which is very close to his actual ERA. And when those two numbers are similar, you kind of see some validity in that FIP number in the ERA number when that's close to the FIP number. Going a little bit deeper here, though, a 357 batting average on balls in play. Not great. 357 batting average on balls in play.
Yeah.
So not great. 43% hard hit percentage, not great. 52% ground ball percentage, not great. I'm not sitting here telling you Clarke Schmidt has figured it out and he's going to turn his season around and he's gonna have a.
Well, this says he has turned his season around. This is what this is telling me.
This is saying that he's right now pitching like a number 5 pitcher.
Okay. Look,
which is kind of what they need. Not maybe what we wanted him to be, but if it's not the worst thing in the world.
Everybody needs a number 5 starter. You have to have that. That's
the problem is when you've got four of 5 starters.
Well, that's changing, right? Things are changing at this point. There's more competition that's going to be ramped up, and there's going to be spots that are not going to be available with all hopeful that people are coming back healthy and staying healthy on this team. I'm still, one of my bold predictions in the beginning of the season was Clarke Schmidt having a good season. And so I'm very hopeful for this. This is something I want to see very badly. I think that he's got all the things that you need to do, that you need to have to be a quality major league pitcher. He's got the curveball is plus. He's developed some new pitches. He's trying to get these out pitches. these numbers are showing me. I was surprised when I saw the amount of strikeouts to innings pitched. That's, I think, a very good thing. He's still missing spots, and that's where I am continue to look at is where the glove is and where the pitches are. And even on some of the strikeouts, he's, the glove is moving constantly behind the batters. So he's not going to the spots he's supposed to. And that's where he needs to get better. And if he cleans that up, like, that is such a big thing. So these numbers are really surprising for me because he's not accurate right now. If he can clean up, and to me, that's mechanical. That's mechanical. If the ball is not going to the place that you want it to go, it's mechanical because you're at a level now, major league pitcher. You've got all of the things. You've done this before. You know how to do it. It's just you're not able to repeat that same motion, and the ball is going to exactly where you want it to go or very close to it a high percentage of the time. If he can clean that up and continue to improve the mechanics, I think these numbers are showing that he's getting better and he's getting swings and misses, which means there's movement on the pitches. There's deception. There's, he's fooling guys.
Right, that's the thing.
There's upside. There's even more upside than this because this is the thing that I'm seeing.
Well, yeah, because this is not that great, right? Like, so what I think you're saying is there's a lot of positives in these numbers, even though
because I don't think he's pitching all that great.
I agree.
Yeah,
there's still a lot of negatives, like the hard hit percentage, the batting average on balls in play. 52% ground ball percentage is pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I mean, he's missing down. He's not missing up in the zone where 4 home runs over 21 innings pitched. Not terrible.
The one start in Texas where I think he gave up 10 hits, 5 of them extra bases, is included in these 4 starts. He got bombarded in that start.
Yeah, no, that's true. And that's why the hit total is so high. But again, he's keeping it down, still missing, but missing down. That's not the worst thing in the world. But again, man, there's like very clear room for improvement that I believe can be improved with more reps for whatever reason, just more reps and just tweaking little tiny things. So I don't think he's that far away. And when you see the results from a guy with the eye test that says like that guy's not pitching very great, that's very promising to me because that means the action on the ball, the movement, all those things are good. He's just got to locate better. He's got to perform the game that's being called because right now I don't think that's happening to a T. And if you gave truth serum to Trevino and Higgy, they would tell you the exact same thing.
Well, because we did the eye test, nerd test with Harrison Bader, and it's like eye test, nerd test with Clarke Schmidt here is that, yeah, like in a traditional sense, like you would look at it, 3 ERA in last 4 starts. He must be figuring it out. But like you watch him pitch and you're like, he figures it out for a batter. And then the next batter, it's completely lost again. And it's still very all over the place.
It's inconsistency. That's it. To me, it's inconsistency. It's not getting that repeatable motion. And maybe that's because there's a new pitch involved here too. And he's just feeling his body and making sure that he's getting down to these tight mechanics. But again, he has gotten better. Like the first few starts of the season were abominable. They were bad. And now you're seeing a guy that's getting deeper into games. He's throwing less pitches. So it's definitely getting better. And eye test says it's getting better, but eye test also says that it's not where it needs to be. And he's got the ability to be much better. That's what, to me, I'm still seeing that. I still see a guy who can be a number 3 guy and going out there and really competing. Yeah, I do see it. I see that the amount of pitches that he has, if he's able to control them better, then it's confusing as a batter. You got to look for a lot of stuff. If he could put the ball where it's supposed to go, he's a problem. He is.
I guess 27 strikeouts in 21 innings would say his stuff plays the major league level, and he
his 2-seamer is pretty good. It's just a matter of controlling. I don't think he's controlling the 2-seamer very well, and the cutter's just going the other way. They call it a sinker. This 2-seamer, it's a 2-seam fastball. That's what it is. Again, I talked about this early. Like him living off of that fastball a little bit more, or living off of that knuckle curve a little bit more, but choosing that one pitch and then working off of that. I still think he can work more off of his fastball because I think it's very effective. But again, he's got to be able to control it. If you can't control your fastball, then everything else is much harder. And if you leak anything out over the plate, you're in trouble. But he's got 4 or 5 pitches with plus curveball.
What baseball video games did you used to play?
don't know if I want to
You'll
answer
see
that
where
question.
I'm going with this. Wait,
I don't see where you're going with this because
You know,
it
did
goes
you
way
ever play
back.
like? Yeah, I know. So like the
Bases
ones I
loaded.
played the most. Bases loaded was it on the NES?
It's like 2 buttons. Yeah.
What year was that?
It's like used to play with Jersey.
I used to play All-Star Baseball on N64 and then the MVP series on PlayStation. And then the last really video game system I had was an Xbox 360.
Uh-huh.
And unlike you bought your PS4 like 6 days
PS3.
before the
PS3.
COVID. During COVID, 2 days before the PS4 came out.
Before it was announced. It was announced like 3 days after I bought the PS3. It was a motherfucker.
You could have gotten the PS3 for like a fraction of the cost.
I played it like 3 times. And I think I'm still paying for the EA Sports membership actually. Because it's just
like
it just renews and then I forget to turn it off.
Solid like $120 per session.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Xbox 360 last in my head, and I played the ones with Derek Jeter on front of it. Anyway,
for the record, I didn't play baseball games a lot. I played a ton of hockey games. I played Madden a lot. I played Tiger Woods, and I played NFL Blitz.
Ton of baseball because games. I would do in the baseball games I would do the creator players, right? And you could play as yourself throughout a season, right? So you wouldn't be playing the whole game. You would just pitch or you would just do your bats, right?
Yeah. I played a lot of hockey games too. I don't know if I said that. To
bring this back to two-seamer versus sinker.
Right.
You see where I was going with this?
Okay.
I had
no idea where we were going with this.
They were both pitches in a video game.
Oh, okay. They are pitches.
So they're different.
Games... Okay. They are different. They should be different, but they're not today. There's a lot of two-seamers.
The longest way? Do you think
I still don't even know what the hell you were talking about.
I possibly could have said that the two-seamer and the sinker is different.
Yeah, the two-seamer and the sinker should be different. One has downward motion, one has horizontal motion. But what we're seeing today is the two-seamers have also downward motion, but horizontal motion. Yes, correct. It's like the sweeper. Who called it yesterday? John Flaherty was talking about the sweeper the other day. It's just a slider that has more horizontal movement. Okay, what? So
what happened to the slurve? Whatever happened to a slurve? Do you remember the slurve?
Yeah,
that had like a little bit of a run.
All right. Do you know
that's just a sweeper?
No, the slurve was more of a curveball that went side to side. Whereas the sweeper is it's just an exaggerated slider. To me, the sweeper, the person I think of was Adam Ottavino. It's a frisbee. It's a frisbee. Yeah. That's what it is.
Adam Ottavino did have a sweeper.
You throw a frisbee, you can throw it at the guy's barrel of his bat when it's behind his head, and you could just turn a frisbee to the outside of the plate, like significantly, and it makes that big sweeping motion. So I understand it. And a sweeper, you got to have some kind of exaggerated mechanics where your arm is, you're at 3/4 or something like that. Fine. But it's just a slider with a lot of movement.
All right. I want to quickly touch on Nestor Cortes, but before that, maybe you're going to one of the games this weekend in the Bronx. It's going to be a beautiful weekend in New York City. And if you're going, you're going to need a kick-ass pair of sunglasses. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that are just as good as any expensive pair you can buy. They also have an insane protection plan, which covers you if you break or lose your pair. No questions asked. They have over 200,000 5-star reviews for a reason. The glasses are lightweight and durable, and they are built for outdoor activities. They have dozens of styles and color combinations to choose from for both men and women. Shady Rays is giving their best deal to our listeners. Go to shadyrays.com and use promo code Bronx for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Check them out. We know you're going to love them. Nestor
Cortes.
So far in the year, 38 innings pitched in his 7 starts to a 4.74 ERA, 4.43 FIP. He is walking 2.6 per 9. He is allowing 1.4 home runs per 9 and 8.5 hits per 9. If you compare that to last year, where he finished 8th in Cy Young, he had 2.2 walks, 0.9 home runs per 9, and 6.1 hits per 9.
What were the walks last year compared to this year? About the same?
2.2 to 2.6,
Yeah.
slightly up this year.
Yeah, that
His
was
strikeout to walk ratio last year was 4.29. This year it's 3.55.
it's not crazy different.
The hits per nine basically 2.5 more hits per 9 innings.
Yeah.
And then when you're walking slightly more, and he's also giving up a half a home run more per 9 innings.
It's hard to hit a half a home run. But they will hurt you if you're walking more and getting more guys on base.
So you are right in the sense that
he's marginally like, that's the thing with him. There's not a lot of room for error with Nestor Cortes. Like he doesn't have a lot of room for error.
The thing I've noticed mostly is just people on the bases. There's just a lot more traffic on the bases when he's pitching, and he's throwing a lot into a lot deeper counts, and he's finding himself in long innings, long at bats, and he's not able to go as deep into the games. And then, like we saw on Monday, he was pulled in the sixth inning. So he pitched 5 innings, but he was pulled in the 6th inning with bases loaded. And then Marinaccio came in and allowed 2 of those inherited runners to score. So obviously those runs are charged to Nestor Cortes. The Yankees were able to pile on runs after that, but that's just not what we saw from Nestor last year. He would have just pitched 6 clean innings last year against Oakland.
Yeah. So what do you think it is? Do you think this is him?
I don't
have something
know.
to do with that injury? Is he not fully healthy and he's just kind of battling through something? He could be.
Potentially. I mean, come on. Is it that insane to think that
he's come back to earth a little bit?
Yeah, he outperformed last year. The entire league has more footage on him, more film on him, a better approach. Maybe it's that coupled with the fact that maybe he's still working his way back and isn't quite 100%. So you couple those two things together and you've got a 4.7 ERA pitcher instead of a 2.4 ERA pitcher. But the reality is he should be a 3.5 ERA pitcher.
I don't know how logical this is, but I'm going to say it anyway. Nestor Cortes has always worked very quickly. He's always been a guy that he gets the ball and he's ready to go, and that can absolutely disrupt a batter in the box.
Oh, and that's not unique anymore.
That's not unique anymore. Everybody's doing that. The batters are definitely
interesting.
Ready to hit. Not to say that they weren't ready to hit before, because I feel dumb saying that, to be honest. They're pro hitters, that they're ready to hit, but the deception in that sense is a little bit. It's not as unique. They're seeing it more. These guys are ready for it. So I don't know how much, when you're looking at the small differences in the amount, two hits per 9 innings, half of a home run, little things like that, it could make a difference. A small adjustment like that, where guys are gearing up and they're ready for that. He's not quick pitching anybody. He's not outpacing anybody with the way that he pitches now, because everybody's literally doing the same thing. Maybe.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but that's a good call. Could be. It's just,
and it could be a number of things stacked together.
Exactly. That's probably the reality. It's just a handful of things all adding up to him not being as good as he was last year.
And honestly, like, I don't ever want to root for anybody being hurt, but if he's hurt and that's affecting the way he's doing something, and he just needs more to get back into it, or again, it wasn't. He wasn't able to get the amount of reps that he normally would get to start a season, and he's still working through some things. Like, to me, then now there's, much more positive on the horizon for him, but I don't know if that's the case. We're into the second week of May. We should be ready to go at this point.
Did you see Boone, like, having a little pep talk with him when he pulled him out of that game on Monday night? I think Kay and Flaherty even brought it up on the broadcast, but he was like, Nestor was sitting on the bench, and like how the guys sit on like the top of the bench instead of the actual seat, and then Boone was like kneeling down with his leg up on the actual bench, so they were like face to face,
right?
And he was like giving him like a pump up speech, motivational speech, maybe explaining to him why he pulled him in that situation. I don't know if we ever got what that conversation was about, but that kind of just dawned in my head as we were talking through this.
Well, and it's also just a guy that you expect good things, and Nestor expects good things too. So as the manager, you want to reassure your guy. You want to make sure that the message is positive, and he feels good going into the next start. So I don't know. We have to keep watching to see what he has. A small sample size to identify what's going on with him by the All-Star break. If we're still seeing Nestor just struggling or not doing. Being as consistent as we've been used to over the last year and a half, then we can start looking at other things. But There just could be like maybe now he's going to make another adjustment to the batters,
Yep.
go even faster. He's just going to be like he's going to be going so fast. He's going to be throwing at the 8-second mark, like the engagement throw.
All right. Anything else you want to touch on from the week? Obviously, the Tampa series coming up. Herman, Cole, Cortez, Schmidt for the Yankees. Tampa has not announced a starting pitcher yet.
Of course, because they don't have starting pitchers. It's I mean, that's given the situation. I guess that's how you want it to line up, right? So they're
no
they're going
Brito.
to be gearing up. No Brito, right? I mean, look, this team is better now than the last time we saw them. So
because Judge is there.
Because Aaron Judge is there, that's not a small thing, literally and figuratively, not a small thing. So yes, I expect them to be coming out. They got their captain ready to roll. So they should. When's Cole pitching? Game 1 or 2?
Game 2. He's pitching Friday.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I like it.
Yeah, he's got to get. He's
got to come back on this one. There's no better time. Prime time Friday night, Yankee Stadium. This is the time to come back from what happened to him. So a lot of eyes gonna be watching him. Definitely want to watch how he rebounds from that last start, given that he's been so, cruising and had such high success all the way up until that one start. And now you have, your redemption time a week later is big. And for him, the way that the season's been going, the way that he's been carrying himself and the way he's been pitching, I expect him to come out here and pitch really well.
Alrighty, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Again, thank you, Shady Rays. Thank you, Athletic Greens, for sponsoring us today. And if you want to come to the May 27th Memorial Day weekend event that we're having, go get your tickets on BronxPinstripes.com, and we hope to see you there. We will talk to you again on Monday.
Peace.